Hello, I'm Irma Baker. Welcome to our show. We're sponsored by RSVP, the Retired Senior Volunteer Program, which is part of Mature Services. We like to provide a kaleidoscope of images of things that are going on here in the Wadsworth area. Our guest today is someone who's very active in what's happening in Wadsworth. We'll be right back after a few words from our sponsor.
RSVP of Summit County has been making a difference in our community since 1972. RSVP volunteers are increasing the quality of life by participating in programs and organizations that provide important services to the community. RSVP matches personal interests and skills with opportunities to serve. If you're interested in adding more meaning to your life and improving the lives of others, please call 330-253-4597, extension 166.
Welcome back. Our guest today is Jack Ollom. Jack is the Executive Director of Main Street Wadsworth. Jack, it's a pleasure to have you with us today.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Well, you have certainly seen so much happening in Wadsworth. You've been working with downtown Wadsworth for the past 11 years, and now you've been named the Executive Director of Main Street Wadsworth. It's a pleasure to have you with us here today, and I think with everything that's happening, it's just like that light up Wadsworth.
It is. There's a lot of things going on, and there's a lot of things that are going to go on. And Wadsworth, our focus is to keep the downtown a vibrant area, and so the more things that go on, the happier we are.
Well, some things that have been happening was the lighting that was put into downtown Wadsworth.
Yeah, all the buildings downtown were outlined in a white digital light, and they're on for the Christmas holiday season, and then we're also turning them on for a special season, like the 4th of July and that kind of thing. So.
It really is a very impressive display, and certainly the photo that we just had up there shows it to its great advantage. But we don't all see Wadsworth from the sky at night, but we do see the streets and such. And we have a nice overview of what downtown Wadsworth looks like right now.
Yeah, this is an aerial shot shot by our photographer Tom Studmeyer. And it was taken, I think, a year ago in the summertime, but that's our downtown from the air.
It really, you can, as you look at that, you can really see that Wadsworth is a compact city, but also a city that has still remained true to aesthetics.
Well, I think so. Every downtown goes through changes. There are times when people want to modernize buildings, and we had some really beautiful Victorian and Italianate buildings downtown that over the years have lost their decoration, so to speak, in an effort to modernize it. But as we work with the revitalization process, we're hoping to start to see some of that come back. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, you brought along some wonderful historical shots of the Wadsworth of long ago. Let's take a look at some of those.
Sure. This was the old stone gazebo that sits currently where our new gazebo is, and this had a second floor viewing area, and then the underneath in the basement area, I guess as you'd call it, were washrooms that were utilized by the people that came to town on Saturday night. We have a lot of our farming community would come into town on Saturday night, and not having a chance to clean up, they'd go down there and do a little cleanup before they went out and went on the town, so to speak.
So downtown Wadsworth was a rousing place, and that's what's there today.
Well, it's interesting how we use our downtowns. We've changed the way we use them. If you think about it, in the years past, the downtown was always someplace you had to do your shopping there. You had to pay your bills there. You came to see the doctor there. Everything you did was focused into downtown, and that's not so true anymore. With the advent of strip malls and the internet and other things, you don't necessarily have to go to the bank. You can stay at home and do your banking, or you can pay your utility bill at home. So we've really changed the way we use our downtown now. So this is an interesting shot. This is in the area that the little tiny building right there is where Chuck's Coin currently is. Obviously, the Yule log being pulled by the horses And there's an interesting image that if you look real close, just to it would be to the right of the gentleman in the glass there appears to be a gentleman that you can see through. So we're not really sure exactly how that happened, but it doesn't appear to be a time lapse or an image move, because he is solid enough, but yet he doesn't blur, and you can see right through him. So I call that my ghost picture.
You never know. It could be that the spirits of the past are there looking over the Wadsworth as it progresses through time.
Yeah, and it's interesting how the town was built and laid out for horse and wagon and for pedestrian. And as we go through the ages and the automobile starts to come along, well, we start losing space because we have to have parking spaces and we have to have the width for the roads, and so it's kind of shaped our downtown. And then obviously you didn't need as much room for a horse and buggy as you did for a tar tanker truck. So, and here comes the cars in the 40s, 30s and 40s, 50s. People started getting automobiles. I can remember we had one car in our family. Now everybody seems to have a car in the family. So all those cars, you need someplace to put them. So you start losing your space. This is the IOF building downtown. This building was started in 1865, a year after the Civil War. So.
Is that kind of typical that our downtown buildings, we have a good percentage of downtown buildings that were built over 100 years ago?
Well, our average age of our buildings downtown is around 135 years old, and some of them are a lot older than that. So yeah, there's some age to them, and through the years, maintenance has to be constant on them, and weather takes. This is Ohio, so we get plenty of weather, and they take a beating. So.
Well, I'll bet some of our viewers right now are looking in that picture and saying, oh, I remember Standard Drug. I remember the ice cream at Isley's.
Sure, absolutely.
What is that?
Well, this was during World War II. This was a captured mini-sub that was doing tours through the East Coast. It was a war bond drive, and it happened to stop in Wadsworth. And what you're looking there, that's on High Street, looking towards the northeast. The short building right there, just across from the sub, is where Thurber's Jewelers is. So it kind of orients you as to where that's at. This is an interesting shot. Not too many people know this, but prior to what some of the older folks remember as the Brenneman Building, and now where Valley Cafe and O'Neill's insurance group is, this was a hotel, and it's on the northeast corner. It'd be High and Broad Street there, and it was called at one time the Park Hotel. Even though what we know about the Park Hotel has changed, but that was in fact the Park Hotel.
So we have lost some buildings over the years.
We have. We were fortunate in that Medina, has burnt down 3 times. And we have, because of material locations, we had the brickyard, and we were able to build a lot of our buildings out of brick. And there was a couple of quarries close to here, so a lot of the foundations are stone, and we had an abundant supply of wood. So we did have some fires, but we didn't have quite the fire. Some places that were just built out of wood frame buildings. This is a shot of the downtown. This is looking southwest. That's the old elm tree that sat in the center with the horse trough around it. Obviously there's no traffic lights there because cars haven't come up yet, but and you can see some of the ornateness. That building that has that really nice little top on it there, that building is currently where the insurance company is, Tri-County Insurance downtown. So,
were many of the buildings renovated over the years with their facades changed?
Yes.
Just to what people considered in those days as modernizing?
Right, and one of the things that Main Street's working on, what we've completed and just handed to the city, is some guidance for the downtown and for fixing up your building for facade renovation. We put some guidelines in place that's going to follow the Secretary of Interior standards, which basically says do no harm to the building. And if we have documentation as to how the building used to look, if we use like or similar products to replace and add back on, we're going to try to bring some of those facades back. This is a shot of the old National Hotel, which sat on the northwest corner, where the currently where Time Warner is. It burnt down. It was a wood frame structure that did burn down.
Well, there seem to have been quite a few hotels. Was Wadsworth a crossroads of any kind?
Well, it's interesting because you had, at one time, this is about as far west as it went, and the pioneers were actually what they called the East-West Road, which would have been our Broad Street, College Street. Once you got out to Holmesbrook, it didn't go much farther than that because they had what they called the swamp, and they took a long time to figure out how to get wagons through the swamp. And once they did, it became kind of a busy place to go through. Of course, and we had what they call Mayberry, where everybody wanted to go and get their goods to the canal, which Mayberry turned into Akron. But this is a shot of the old Park Hotel that we all, at least as I did as a kid, remember we used to go in there and they would take our pictures in there for, I can remember going in and doing, they had this really nice round couch that you sat on, and they always took our pictures in there. This was the Akron Urban Car, started at the turn of the century, and it serviced Wadsworth and Akron. It was the Akron Metropolitan Busing Authority provided it, and I think it stopped running in the early 30s. I can remember my grandfather telling me he worked at Firestone. He was a supervisor in the department that made Wiley Post's suit, and he would walk into town and catch the interurban car and take it to work every morning, and it would bring him back at night. So that's how he got back and forth to work.
Well, the pictures are just marvelous, and they do bring back so much of the history of Wadsworth. But right now, we are in a very exciting time, which is becoming a Main Street community. What does our downtown look like today?
Well, I think that we've got some pictures here. As you can see, it's kind of a skeleton of its former self. There are obviously plenty of room for improvement. There are a lot of mismatched business mixes. We've got a lot of service businesses that are in retail spaces and vice versa. You can see some of the detail is still there in some of the buildings. Obviously, some of them have been gone completely. But I think that Main Street's goal is preservation. Actually, they say it's revitalization through preservation. So we're working on the history and we're working on the future at the same time.
Well, I love looking at the pictures, and you have a map that you brought along, a map of where we are today. Perhaps if we take a look at that, there it is.
Yeah, this map represents.
What does it mean? This
map represents the retail, the service, and city and government buildings in the downtown. And we're doing studies on our mix for the downtown. We're doing studies on second and third floor occupation and use, and how we can improve that. So this is just a tool that we're using to try and get a grip on where we're at and where we need to go.
Looks like we're pretty well occupied downtown. May not be the mix that is best for us.
We're real good there. I think there's only one or two storefronts that are not occupied, and we have I think 2 infills. Infill is an empty space, but other than that, we're in pretty good shape there. But what we need to do is we need to get the right mix for the community. You hear everybody has an idea as to what that should be: more restaurants, more retail, but what kind of retail, you know, and what kind of different food you want. So those are the things that we're looking at and we'll be working on.
In terms of Main Street Wadsworth, now a lot of times when people hear Main Street Wadsworth, they say, well, what's the big deal? We've always had a Main Street, and, you know, so what? But Main Street is an actual designation, and it's not given to every community.
No, it's actually pretty difficult to attain, and it's through the National Trust. Every state, well, almost every state has a Main Street community in it. I think there's over 2,500 of them right now. There's over 30 in Ohio. Heritage Ohio manages the Ohio branch of the national for us. But there are standards that you have to meet in order to become Main Street. They're pretty tough, and to be honest with you, and there are criteria that has to be maintained. And just once you attain it, it's not over. Every year you're looked at, your figures are looked at. How well did you do? Did you attain your goals? So it's a constant improvement kind of thing, and that's exactly what has to happen with the downtown. It's a constant improvement kind of thing. There's no silver bullet to fix it. You can't throw a bunch of money at it and then just walk away and let it be done. The last time that there was anything done in the downtown was in 1982, when they rounded the corners and put in some landscaping and signage. So
we're talking over 30 years.
Yeah. So well, you have to understand that our downtown's 202 years old. So 30 years doesn't seem too bad. Isn't too bad, but so it's something you got to keep your eye focused on all the time, and that's kind of what we do. We stay focused on the downtown.
Well, what kind of things, you alluded to them a little bit, what did we have to provide to the National Trust to help us qualify or become eligible to be a Main Street community, and what do we get out of it?
Well, one of the things you have to do is you have to have a board. We have currently a 15-member board. It's made up of a whole different perspective of the community. We have the mayors on the board. We have the director of the libraries on the board. Our board president currently is Dr. Andy Hill from the Wadsworth City Schools. We have businessmen on the board. We have retirees on the board. We have just about every walk of life on that board. And the idea of that is to be able to represent the community. You have to have a paid executive director. You have to have committees that are set up and functioning. You have to meet funding standards. You have to make sure that you have enough money to be able to function and carry through from year to year. And what they're basically looking at is they want you set up for success. They don't want you to fail. So there's all kinds of different criteria that you have to get involved in and demonstrate to them that you can do, whether it's funding or manpower or volunteers or activities or goals. It's all in place, and it's a pretty good hurdle to jump over every year or so.
And what do we get out of it?
Well, I think what we do is we get a vibrant downtown, and with the vibrant downtown comes community. And this community is kind of interesting. We grew faster in 7 years than we did in 150 years. And everybody can remember a time when everybody knew everybody. And now you can go to like a shopping place or something and you don't see anybody you know. And so what has happened is we've had this big influx of folks from all over the country. Another example of that is that I can remember you used to drive through neighborhoods and you'd see the Cleveland Browns flagged and you'd see the Cleveland Indians flagged, and now you see St. Louis and you see Chicago and you see all of these. That's because these people have come from all over the country. And so we have a 62-3%, depending on who you talk to, percent of the community has been here 7 years or less. So what we've got is we've got a community that don't really have the roots. And the last time that we had that kind of a mix was the pioneer days. So what we've got is we've got some community building to do, and we've got people that live in this town that have never been downtown, don't even know that we have a library. So there's some community building to it, and that's what we focus on. We do the events downtown. We do 13 major events a year, which brings a lot of people downtown. But what happens in those events, other than they're fun to be at, and most of them are free, but I hear conversations, hey, you're the guy that moved in down the street. I saw you mowing, you know. So people are starting to talk to each other, and that's something that used to be very prevalent in this town, and now it's not so much anymore. You know, everybody's busy doing things and taking care of their lives and their kids and everything, and nobody seems to talk anymore. So we're trying to make the downtown the center of the city. We're trying to make the downtown a place where people come together.
You mentioned a very interesting analogy there. You said the last time we had such an influx of people from all over, rather than people born and raised right here, was in pioneer days. And in a way, this revitalization of Wadsworth and becoming a Main Street community harkens back to that kind of a community personality.
Well, it does. Like I say, the main goal is revitalization through preservation. Everybody says they love being in Wadsworth. They love the downtown. And so that Wadsworth experience, we need to capture that, and we need to to figure out exactly what it is, and then we need to build on that and to make sure that it carries on for other generations. So that's part of our mission, is to figure that out and to enhance that.
Well, how can the community help you do that? What is it that you need to hear from the community?
We really need to hear their input. We need volunteers. We need people to get involved. You can contact us through our website, through our Facebook page. You can call me, you can text me, you can email me, whatever you want to do. But our committees and myself, we need to understand exactly what it is about the downtown and Wadsworth in general that people like, and then we need to be able to make sure that that's going to continue on.
Well, I know it's hard to remember all the phone numbers and email addresses and all, but if somebody has a computer and they're on the internet, or go to our wonderful library and ask the librarian to set it up, mswadsworth.org, that will get them to all this information.
Yeah, mswadsworth.org is our main site. We're on Facebook. My email address is jack@mswadsworth.org. You can get me at 330-334-6162. You can call me on my cell phone. You can text me, whatever you want to do. That's fine. But you can stop by my office. I'm glad to sit and chat. People stop me on the street a lot, and I'm always downtown. And just give me your opinion.
Where is your office? Is it in one of the buildings that has history?
We're on the third floor of the First Merit Building, and room 301. And we share that floor with Oz2 Design and with the Wadsworth Community Radio Station. So we're pretty easy to find.
And between WCTV and the radio station, certainly there are outlets for people to find out what's going on and keep abreast of what's happening.
Absolutely. We do every year, for every event we do posters. We send slides up to WCTV. We'll put ads in the paper. Sometimes we'll do banners. We'll hang banners up. We have an event coming up the 14th of this month, the Herb and Craft Fest. That's a Saturday. It runs from 9 to 5, rain or shine, and that's usually a big, it's kind of like everybody's tired of being all cooped up, so now it's time to come out and get the flowers out. But it's a great event. It's downtown. It's on the sidewalks, and people get to chat with each other and pick up some flowers and some herbs and there's some crafts there that they can go through. So yeah, that's the kind of thing that we do. And again, we do it downtown, bringing people together.
What do you find most exciting about the revitalization of Wadsworth and its status as a Main Street community?
Well, I think that the most exciting part to me is the people, and I think that getting things done is important. A lot of the stuff that we're doing and about to do, we're going to be around for a long time, and so you're kind of part of history, but I think that meeting new people all the time, old friends, just the fact that the community is working together in a common cause, I think is really exciting to me.
Now, you mentioned that people can help by becoming a volunteer. Not everybody can volunteer, but I noticed on the website, I was really surprised to see that there's a little tab there that says shop. Sure. And as I looked in there, there are some unique items. What do we have? The Monopoly, the Wadsworth Monopoly?
Yeah, we were a big part of the bicentennial 2 years ago, and we created this Wadsopoly game. It's still available. You can pick it up online, or you can pick it up at our office. Several of the stores downtown, Three Roses Gift Boutique, Thurber's Jewelers carry it. It's obviously a fundraiser for the downtown. We use the money to put on the events and do other things with it, but it's a great little gift. It's really kind of unique to Wadsworth, and they've been very popular. We've sold a lot of them. So.
And there's also a wonderful picture book? We
do. We still have our coffee table book that we put out for the bicentennial called Our Town, and I think that it's a mix of the old photos and photos of today. It's a wonderful book. It's well done. We actually put that together at Oz 2 on the 3rd floor. And obviously we didn't publish it, but we did in fact put it together right here in Wadsworth. So, by Wadsworth for Wadsworth.
By Wadsworth for Wadsworth, and certainly by in Wadsworth.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, Jack, it's been marvelous having you with us today. I'm sure we could spend much more time talking about Wadsworth, and it's just marvelous to see all this revitalization happening and looking forward to what's going to happen in the future. So thank you so much for coming.
Well, thanks for having me, and I'd be glad to come back anytime and report how we're doing.
Well, we would love to have you do that, and we would love to have you all tune in again. And for today, I'm Irma Baker. Please do remember our sponsor, RSVP, part of Mature Services, and have a wonderful day.
Since 1971, RSVP has been matching volunteers' talents to community needs. RSVP is affiliated with the Corporation for National and Community Service, a national organization that supports service and volunteering through grant-funded projects. Volunteers organize neighborhood watch programs, tutor children, renovate homes, plant community gardens, assist victims of natural disasters, and serve their communities in many other ways. RSVP offers maximum flexibility and choice to its volunteers as it matches the personal interests and skills of Americans 55 and older with opportunities to serve their communities. If you're interested in adding more meaning to your life and improving the lives of others, please call 330-253-4597, extension 166.